Today, folks, we gotta discuss the calamity that is taking over different sectors of the market. If you do not show positive EBITDA, if you are a Chinese company, or you have any relation to being slightly hit by the new coronavirus thing here, I gotta be careful. I don't want YouTube to flag this video, but my God, we gotta discuss this because my portfolio, we're gonna dive down into it. It seems to be like an all-weather portfolio. I'm patting myself on the back today because I'm not down that much. I mean, I was expecting a hell of a lot worse. I think the portfolio today sitting at like 354K or something like that. Let's just kick it off by getting into it, and then we'll take a look at some of these individual stocks. I'm going to talk to you guys about my plan with Chinese companies and just kind of how I feel about all of this. So this should be a really impactful video. So consider hitting that like button, folks, because first and foremost, I calculated all of this yesterday and we were sitting at about 357. Coming into about an hour ago when I checked, we were sitting around 353, 354K. So really from an all-time high of 364-ish thousand, this is great. I mean, I don't think I could ask for it better than this, and it's primarily because some of my huge tech holdings like Apple and Microsoft have been a safe haven for people's capital. It seems to be where they're flooding all their money. Now, the best thing about this portfolio this week is the crazy amount of dividend increases, and I added one new position. Since the Canadian banks decided to bump up all their dividends on these last earnings, guys, I went through, recalculated it all, and I'm sitting right now at about $8,627 in annual dividends. My end game here is to eventually get this over 10,000. I wanted to do that this year, but it looks like we might have to hold off to next year. The average yield right here, guys, on the current portfolio is 2.41%. It'd be nice to get to the 3%, but I'm not willing to sell my tech companies right now. So just taking a look across the board here, guys, the only thing that I've really been buying aggressively lately has been Facebook. Facebook hit a low today of like 300, and I am about ready to back the truck up if this thing dumps any lower into the 200s. I did, however, pick up 5 shares. I'm sitting at 55 shares total now, and keep in mind, all of these prices are converted to those maple bucks, the Canuck bucks, as I call them. So these are all Canadian dollar valuations, by the way, because I live in Canada, so I always convert it back over. But just take a look. So I added one new bank. Speaking of the banks, I added the Royal Bank of Canada. Not the craziest bank. I mean, it is the second largest company here in Canada. The banks are a huge proponent of the entire Canadian market, so I absolutely love them because Royal Bank right now, after the dividend increase, is paying about 3.7%. Most of the banks now are over 4%, and I want to add more of it. So I did pick up 39 shares at a great price, 126 bucks. I'm already up from where I purchased it. I do want to buy more, however. So this is a starting position along with Granite Real Estate Investment Trust. I'm going to try and focus on building these up probably into the end of the year and into early next year. Other than that, I have, however, incrementally still been buying Bitcoin. It has been tanking as well. And right now, just taking a look at the broader view here, folks, things are great. Absolutely phenomenal. I don't know how I can complain at all when my portfolio is still holding up to these highs, and we've got this incredible diversification. Now, Tesla has pulled back quite a bit more today, so I wouldn't be surprised if it's closer to like a 7% weighting. It's still the largest position. So this is kind of where everything sits. But like I said, my biggest bullish conviction, however, is always going to be Facebook. Because I've been messing around with the Oculus, and I know I keep preaching this, but I did a full live stream about it, guys, and I actually have this plugged into charge. Maybe I should pull it out here real quick. This thing, I don't think I can say it enough. Unless you've tried it, I don't think you realize how big of a deal this is. So Facebook, to me, at this price, it is the cheapest by PE on the S&P top 10 here, guys. Well, maybe not against something like a JP Morgan, but against those tech companies, cheapest valuation by far, greatest balance sheet of the bunch, and it hasn't even come close to pricing in the metaverse. And every single person I have let try this all want to buy one. And again, guys, I don't think I could iterate that enough. So I am going to back the bloody truck up, and I will likely buy another 5-10 shares of Facebook before the end of the year is the plan anyways. But putting that aside, folks, let's take a look at the markets themselves on my StockTwits watch list here, and let's talk about the broader picture real quick. So let me zoom in. And we'll just take a quick peek to see what's getting hit the hardest here. Obviously, coming into the close of today, Bitcoin's getting hammered, Ethereum's getting hammered, VOO and VTI obviously still coming down. This is probably a great opportunity to start picking up the VOO. I would still give it a few days just to see where we end up. But I honestly think we're getting into the real pain part of the market right now, because when we start seeing Apple and Microsoft pull back and, Tesla's getting back closer to the 900s, I mean, Facebook getting down to the 200s, people start recognizing these as discounts. And I feel like we're going to hit a bottom sometime soon here. Again, depends on how bad the news gets, but the news is primarily around this kind of new Rona thing, right? And The weird thing to me about it is what companies perform the best during that time period. Google, Facebook, anything that was a pandemic play, Zoom. Yet for some reason today, they're getting hit. So I don't think there's any correlation here. I would just be getting ready to load the boat if you haven't already started buying like I have. I wish I waited a little longer on Facebook, but I got some gunpowder locked and loaded here. Obviously, anything healthcare related has been doing pretty good. Consumer staples, a lot of people flooding money into those consumer staple brands, which I think we could pop Apple in this category because they just seem to be doing fine. Ryokan got hit real hard initially. Like some of these REITs that were like mall focused, they got hit real hard on the first initial tranche of that news. But then I think people realized how well they actually did through the last like little bit of a, that drop back in March of 2020. And now people are like, no, this thing's a discount. So when it dropped into the $20 range, people just seem to buy it right back up. Let's just take a look here, guys. Nothing really going on with utilities, are kind of boring here. The banks, Canadian banks, are mostly been green through this. So this kind of brings into the all-weather portfolio. I feel so well diversified that like anything that is going to do bad is largely going to be made up by companies like these Canadian companies that are just doing phenomenal, right? Taking a look at BABA, let's talk about my Chinese plan here, okay? BABA to me is one of these companies where if we can get through the delisting news, which by the way, when they delist, you kind of just move off the New York Stock Exchange and you kind of get delisted to some of the OTC markets, I think it would really hinder the share price a lot farther from here. But the fact of the matter is when I run some valuations on this company should easily be anywhere from a $700 to $1,000 stock. It just doesn't make any logical sense for it to be down to where it is right now. And honestly, I am still sitting on my hands. I am waiting because as soon as we can get past this rhetoric, guys, and I'm sure it's going to bump up massively. I could see it jump 50% if this news ever blows over. But if we get past that, I will pay that premium and I will back the truck up because it is going to be the easiest money you're ever going to make in this market. The higher the risk, the higher the reward. And unfortunately, the political unrest right now is just destroying this market. And honestly, a lot of it always comes down to the regulatory issues, right? Like they have to file the way the New York Stock Exchange wants them to file their earnings and stuff. So if I don't think BABA, JD.com, Tencent are lying about their books. If they are, we're going to find out. It's going to be brutal. But if they aren't, and they're going to, follow the regulations over here, these things are going to go to the moon, baby. And they're unfathomably cheap. It's literally a lottery ticket to the moon. Taking a look across the board, guys, Clorox finally trading up a little bit. I'm really shocked it's not up higher based on this news. Scott's Miracle-Gro getting hammered here. Actually had a good valuation, but I don't feel like adding it anytime soon here because I'm too focused on Facebook. A lot of the SPACs, momentous. I mean, Hyliion down here getting absolutely continue to be decimated. The ARK ETFs are at a really good valuation here, in my opinion. Again, I would be buying some of these if I wasn't so highly convicted to my Facebook. I just feel like for me, for the knowledge I have, it's the path of least resistance. But we got Rocket Labs getting absolutely decimated here. I mean, just scrolling through, guys, like, I mean, the MJ market's getting decimated. Carnival Cruise, anything like the resorts and the, anything that's not well poised for the next wave of this Rona is going to get absolutely decimated. So, I mean, that's kind of just where the general markets sit and how I kind of feel about them right now, folks. And this is going to be your opportunity. If you get some capital, I would start investing now. But next week, let's see how this pans out. But Facebook, Google, come on, baby. I'm ready to buy more. In light of that, folks, I want to meet up with you. Tomorrow, Saturday, we are going to be doing our investor meetup. I don't know if any of you are actually going to show up. If you do, I'll be there. If you're not, I'm going to enjoy a nice meal by myself. In order to become a part of that meetup, guys, I'm going to leave an email in the description below. If you are around tomorrow night, I'm not going to reveal any of the details in this live video. Obviously, this is for people that actually care. You can actually send me an email and we could talk and I can send you the invite link and you guys can come join us as well if you so wish. But I'll try and take some clips if the people are comfortable and want to have a fun late night first ever meetup discussion. I think it would be super, super awesome there, folks. But in light of this, I pass the question off to you. How are you guys playing this market? I would love to hear about it. Probably one of the more interesting times after, a 6 to 12 month bull run. I mean, this is the days that I live for. I love it. And it really proves out your investment styles and, if you're making kind of the right decisions and over leveraging in the wrong companies. I feel like this is where we really get to learn. But in light of this, stay cool, stay awesome, and I look forward to catching you tomorrow.